time you went to the mall and all the clothing that you saw. Now these mental images may not be the best and what you want to remember. Trust me, I know. Now think, are these clothing choices the same as what is being chosen at your children's school? Now just thinking about some of these options makes me uncomfortable. So I can see how they are inappropriate for being worn at school. Requiring school uniforms is beneficial for educational purposes. 1. Having a school uniform teaches children appropriate dress. 2. Having school uniform gives children a less distracting environment. And 3. Requiring a school uniform provides children a safe place to learn. Having a school uniform teaches children appropriate public dress. I graduated from a school without a school uniform, but we had a strict dress code. I had a freedom of choice, yet we had restrictions. We couldn't have holes above the knees, and we couldn't have any cracks, guys or girls. We were at school for education, not for a dress fashion show. I have gone to other schools for sporting events and other events, and seeing this dress code was kind of alarming. Many of them had clothing that was not appropriate and just not something you want to see, especially for when you were there to be learning. The Department of Education set up a study, and they studied with actual schools and using uniforms. I found this research on ProQuest. At a school, they had t-shirts that had gang symbols, violence, and sexual implications. They were promoting drugs and violence, and by enforcing the use of uniforms, they diffused the elements of gangs and discrimination. They found during the study that student-adult relationships actually increased in the school environment. Safety felt like they had increased, both faculty and student members. Segregation was taken away between suggestive clothing. Attitudes and exploitations between groups had decreased between one another. Second of all, having a school uniform gives students a less distracting environment. Again, students are here to learn, not for a fashion show. Researchers with the School Uniform Pros have worked with many schools to find this information. Requiring uniforms causes conformity. Conformity is in accordance with prevailing social standards, attitudes, and practices. This is seen as the norm. It is what everyone is wearing, so they don't feel out of place having to be wearing the same uniform because everyone around them is wearing the same thing. No one is trying to one-up the next person. They aren't trying to have the next best name brand shoes, clothing, or jewelry. Especially with women, this is an importance. They will always want to have the best of the best. But not only is it for girls. And with this will take it away. Uniforms will cause one less huge distraction. As well, it causes them to have less provocative clothing because everything is fully covered. And third of all, having school uniforms provides children with a safe learning environment. Today, our world is becoming more and more violent. There are tragedies happening at the least expected places, such as the shooting that has recently taken place at the movie theater. The Clearinghouse in Educational Management provides the following information. Switching over to uniforms because of students and faculty have actually felt that they are safer. And they have found that uniforms have decreased violence and behavior breakouts. I know from experience that because of certain things, people have felt that they have had a freedom and a choice to wear. However, this is not always the case, how it should be. There are certain standards that are set and should be followed. Many studies have gone on with schools after the '99 Columbine shooting. And they think that finding uniforms actually help decrease the violence rate. The impact of distribution school uniforms to kids in Kenya is the next study. They found during the study that testing scores actually increased. Their scores were increased by 0.252. Now, I realize this is a different country, a different environment altogether. However, this is the social norms. This is going to make an effect and impact everywhere around us. It makes a difference no matter where you are. As well, in Kenya, it's found that it decreased dropout rates, decreased teen marriage and teen pregnancy. And many may not believe this because there are many other cons against having school uniforms, and many believe that it takes away a freedom of choice. However, there are positives for it, and these are just a few of them. There are many different opinions and points to be made about requiring school uniforms, but it's important to look at both sides and see the positive, because there are legitimate reasons and points to be made. I have shared with you just a few of them. It does not fully take away the freedom of choice. It teaches children appropriate public attire. It holds off distraction. It provides safety. So the next time you are deciding if your clothing choice is publicly acceptable, think about if your kids are being acceptable when they go to school as well. School uniforms are a good thing for educational purposes.